The 2016 Rolex Australian Grand Prix is the first event of the 2016 FIA Formula One World Championship, with the Albert Park circuit in Melbourne filling its regular slot as the opening round of the championship once more. The inaugural Australian Grand Prix was held in 1985 in Adelaide, which was the season finale every year from its inception in 1985 to the final race in 1995, before the event moved to its current location for 1996. Since the event moved to Melbourne, it has hosted the first race of the season every year, with the exception of 2006 and 2010, where the first round of the season was held in Bahrain. The first round of the 2011 season was also scheduled to take place in Bahrain, but civil unrest in the country ultimately forced the cancellation of the event. The Albert Park Street Circuit is a street circuit set around the Albert Park Lake, several kilometres south of central Melbourne. For a street circuit, it has a surprisingly smooth surface and a very high average lap speed. There are two DRS zones in use for the Grand Prix, the first stretching from the final corner down the main straight towards the first chicane, and the second following immediately towards turn 3, which is regarded as the best overtaking opportunity on the circuit. Of the current field, Jenson Button is the most successful driver in Australia with 3 wins in 2009, 2010 and 2012, with Kimi Raikkonen and Lewis Hamilton on 2 apiece. Okay, so let's take a look at an onboard lap of Melbourne. We're down the start-finish straight, the first of the DRS zones. Braking into turn 1 and 2. Turns 2 follows very quickly from turn 1. You need to maximise the speed through here as you're immediately presented with a second DRS zone. Heading now, the track curves slightly to the right. Braking for turn 3, the best overtaking opportunity on the circuit. Don't use all of the width. You need to bring the car to the right quickly for turn 4. Don't run too wide here. The curb has been extended in recent years. Into turn 5, a very quick corner, very little runoff. If you go wide there, you're heading straight to the scene of an accident. Coming up into turn 6, very tricky corner. Expect somebody to go into the gravel over the course of the Grand Prix weekend. Curving round towards turns 9 and 10, a very good overtaking opportunity on the first couple of laps, less so later on. Into 90-degree right-hander, and then the gentle left. Now we come towards one of the fastest corners on the circuit, the turn 11 and 12 chicane. Very tricky. You need to be very precise with the car. Braking down a couple of gears into the left and into the right. Not much runoff on the outside. We've seen plenty of cars get it wrong, particularly if it's wet. Coming up into the next best overtaking opportunity, turn 12, a 90-degree right-hander. Webber and Hamilton collided here in 2010. As did Maldonado and Grosjean in 2012. Another 90-degree right-hander into the final 2 corners of the lap. This is the slowest corner, I believe, on the circuit. A little lock up there from Kimi Raikkonen. And then into the final corner, very challenging. Get on the throttle nice and early, get the DRS activated and the hybrid boost, and back onto the start. Finish straight to complete a lap of the Albert Park circuit in Australia. The weather in Melbourne is typically sunny during the Grand Prix weekend, though the rainfall has increased in recent years. This has led to more jumbled grids and incident in recent editions of the Australian Grand Prix. The standout race at Melbourne is the 2003 Australian Grand Prix, which saw a breathless first 20 laps as single-shot qualifying had scrambled the grid, together with a wet track and differing tyre and fuel load choices. 2 safety car periods proceeded to jumble the race order further. Once things settled down, Raikkonen, Montoya and Michael Schumacher all led, but each lost time through costly errors, with Montoya spinning out of the lead on worn tyres with just 10 laps to go. This left David Coulthard, who had started 11th and was last on lap 2, to win by 8 seconds from Montoya, followed by Raikkonen and Schumacher, with 2nd to 4th covered by less than a second. It may not have been Coulthard's finest win, but unlike his rivals, his drive was faultless. It was his 13th Grand Prix victory, his 7th consecutive victorious season. The Australian Grand Prix takes place on Sunday the 20th of March at 5 AM British time.